Welcome to SuperTalk, the podcast that scratches your superhero itch. Just two suburban dads nerding out over superhero stuff on the small screen and the big. Buckle up, people. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome to SuperTalk, the weekly podcast dedicated to news and reviews of comic book media. On the big and small screen, this is episode 167.
Whoa!
I'm your host, Brian Professor Pettis, and with me, as always, my co-host, Titanium, Tony Estrella. Titanium.
Professor.
We're back.
We're back.
We got lots to discuss tonight. Big events happening here recently. New York Comic-Con ended up becoming much more of an informational event than anybody expected.
Especially for Marvel.
Well, considering they skipped San Diego Comic-Con this year, we got a lot from them this past weekend.
You know, I sent them a bill for my hotel. I wonder if they're going to pay me since I went all the way out
Well,
there.
if you didn't stay at the Hotel Coronado, then they may have.
Spectacular hotel.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've got a lot to discuss, things that got dropped here over the weekend, lots of trailers and previews and things like that to talk about. We've got a bunch of content to go over today as well. Gen V, Peacemaker finale. We got a lot of things to talk about. So let's jump right into it.
Let's jump right in. Let's dive in, plug our nose, and get wet.
So Gen V, we had episodes 4 through 6 since our last episode. So we had 3 episodes dropped. We'll kind of briefly go over what's occurred. Before we did that, I
summarize it up, Professor.
Well,
Hit us.
what I want to do is I want to give you. So I remember a couple weeks ago, I gave you a theory that I think I figured out what's going on the show.
Okay.
And
we just learned the last episode, we learned Cipher's big plan.
Theoretically,
yeah,
that it's his big plan.
Right.
Yes. But I want to give you what I kind of started figuring out here about 3 episodes ago.
Hit me.
And that I mentioned to you, Cipher seemed a little bit off. Like, who is this guy? Why is he in charge? How does he have so much influence and power? And why does he know everything?
Right. Fascinating character, great character, well written. Mm-hmm.
And we had seen this character in last season's Gen V. He was working in the lab that was developing the anti-soup
disease, infection,
virus, right? That he was in that lab doing all that testing, and then ends up becoming the head of Godolkin University, which is kind of weird. And the beginning of the season talks about, well, we are here to find the strongest superpowered individual soups out there, and this is a university led by soups and run by soups and all, and I'm like, is he a soup?
Right.
And then, a lot of things have happened, and then just his behavior has been a little erratic. And I'm like, something's weird here. In episode 4, we got we got a part of the episode where who was it? It was
Kate.
Is in Cipher's house and sees this huge metal door.
Right.
And she's like, wow, what could be behind this door? And then later in that episode, her and Jordan break into Cipher's house.
Right.
And look behind the door. They get into where this big metal door
is. What's behind curtain number 1?
Right. And we had seen in the beginning, I think at the beginning of the episode, I think it was episode 5, where Cipher was, so what they ended up finding in there was this hyperbaric chamber with this really old burnt guy in it.
Yeah.
And when Kate and Jordan go in there, they're like, oh my God, what is this? And he opens his eyes.
Yeah.
So he's obviously alive.
Sure.
And then in episode 5, we see Cipher bathing him and taking care of him and feeding the old person and lifting him up in a cradle and putting him down in a bed and basically caretaking for this person. And I'm like, hang on a second. None of this makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, we know who the person is because we saw, I think in episode 3 or episode 2 or 3, beginning of the episode showed
Godolkin.
Yeah, Roger Godolkin.
Dr.
Godolkin, the founder of Godolkin University, in a lab in the early days of Vought, They were working on Compound V, and there were
the Odessa project. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they had a bunch of his coworkers had decided to inject themselves with this version of Compound V, and it went very wrong. They all kind of, just
it was a bit of a mistake. Yeah.
They all, exploded or all kind of, and then there's this horrible fire in the lab, and we see that, that he's locked in the room, and in the room, so he obviously burned. We also learned in the latest episode that Stan Edgar said that while he theoretically died, the body was never located or ever found. Well, we know that this is Dr. Godolkin, right? We know that who this body is.
We can all agree
upon. We can all agree upon that. And I'm like, Cipher doesn't make a lot of sense to me. He's all knowing and all knowledgeable about everything. He seems to know everybody's secrets. He knows when somebody's talking about him. He knows when people are doing things behind his back. And I'm like, this is just really weird how he has all this knowledge. And then he also eats a lot of soft food. We saw him making his own food one day, and it was in a blender, and he's like putting all this stuff in there and then like eat. And I'm like, this is really weird. When Kate tried to control his mind, he grabbed her hand and said, you're not doing that. And then we saw
she couldn't even do it to him.
Right.
And Marie says he doesn't have Compound V in his blood.
That's the other thing, is that Marie learned that Marie's abilities can detect the presence of Compound V in individuals.
Right.
And she's like, there's no Compound V in him. He's not a soup. And so when they had this whole plot where they were going to expose him as a non-soup, and they put the camera in the room, and he knew the camera was there and all this other stuff. And then we found out that he could control Jordan, and they set up this big fight between Jordan and Marie, and he took over Jordan's body and was using Jordan to beat Marie up and all this so that Marie would use her full capacity of ability.
Yeah.
And I'm like, something ain't right here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here's my theory. Dr. Godolkin, the burnt old dude in the hyperbaric chamber, is one of the most powerful telepaths on the planet. Professor X.
Okay.
And he is controlling Cipher.
Okay.
100%. 100% mind control has 100. Basically, Cipher is Dr. Godolkin. Cipher doesn't even know this is happening. Dr. Godolkin is controlling him 100%.
Wow.
And speaking through him 100%. And we saw the scene, I think at the beginning of episode 5, where Sister Sage shows up. And they're talking about the plan that they have together, and that, all of our plans are going to come to fruition, and we're going to finally do this. And so we know that the two of them are working together.
Then Cipher and her have sex in front of Dr. Godolkin.
He's in the tub watching them have sex, and she's staring straight at him. And so I think she knows.
Yeah.
So I think the entire time there is no Cipher.
And remember when Polaris takes the knife and then Cipher stabs
himself in his hand
and didn't feel anything?
He doesn't care about physical harm because it's not his body.
Not only that, is that he probably can't feel anything.
Can't feel the pain.
He's burnt. All of his nerve endings are burnt.
And Marie, who was it?
Interesting.
Somebody said that I can detect, I think it might have been Kate that said, I can tell he's in pain. That's all I felt.
When Cipher took over Jordan's body, he called him out and said, you had control. He called her a meat puppet, right?
Meat puppet.
Very similar to one of my social media posts that I said that's what we were.
Yeah.
Anyway, she said that I could feel your pain. You controlled me.
You're in constant pain. You're in constant pain. Burnt up body.
Yeah.
So
makes
my
sense.
theory is that Cipher is just a husk, just a normal person, maybe related to Dr. Godolkin. We don't know that.
Meat puppet, as we
basically is the husk for Dr. Godolkin to control and use him to kind of push his agenda.
Fulfill his agenda that he started to weed out soups.
And can use him as a conduit for his power.
Okay.
So then he's taking over other people's bodies. And we saw him do it to Jordan, that's the conduit. He's the conduit. But I think he doesn't care if anything happens to Cipher because he'll just take over somebody else's body. And I think the reason he wants Marie to reach her full potential is because it's her body and her powers that he wants to have control of. So ultimately, when she becomes one of the most the only other person that's been part of this, project, Odessa that survived were Homelander and Marie.
Right.
And Marie the project was built to create the most powerful soup ever, because you injected a pregnant person with compound V while the fetus was in utero. And that would create this, and that's how they created Homelander. And they're like, well, that's how we created Marie, and you were the only one to survive.
Homelander went sideways, but Marie didn't.
Well, so far. But anyway, they want Marie to reach her full potential so that he can take over her body and then use her and her powers to eliminate Homelander and all these other things, basically take control of everything. So I think, and again, I kind of picked on this. I think he's been pulling the strings the whole time. Sister Sage knows exactly who's in charge and exactly who's doing this. Cipher's nobody. He's just an empty husk of a person that's being controlled by this incredibly powerful telepath that's sitting in a hyperbaric chamber. He's just basically making him care for him and take care of him and all these other things. And that's what's been happening on the time.
Quite a theory, Professor. You've been in the lab, haven't you?
Yeah. So you've been in the lab. Too many pieces of evidence that have led towards this so far. And again, I think the last episode, which I thought was great, where they were trapped in Elmira, they had to escape. And again, we see Marie's powers going to a different level. Cipher has her sister killed basically in her cell. And then Marie has to bring her back to life, and she's able to do it.
That's crazy. That was crazy. Yeah.
And we understand now that her sister's a soup and she has precognition. She can kind of see the future, but not all the time.
Has premonitions.
But I love that Victoria Newman's daughter comes back and she totally kills the Thor guy. What's the guy's name? Victor. Just completely tears his head off with her little snakes that come out of her mouth. It was crazy. But then for Stan Edgar to come back,
how crazy was that?
To find out that he knows nothing about Dr. Godolkin. He doesn't know what Cipher's powers are. He doesn't. And I'm like, it all fits. It all fits. They're all trying to piece this puzzle together. And then at the end of the episode, Marie and Kate go off on their own to kind of confront Cipher so that the others can stay safe with Stan Edgar. But look, this show is, they've toned back a little bit on the gore and kind of inappropriate, use of it a little bit, which I like, because I think it was getting a little too excessive. The guy who can put anything up his butt, what they call, that's why we have a young man who's been admitted to the school that has a quantum displacement and, portal in his asshole or something like that. I was like, that was funny. But we found out that the plan that Cipher / Dr. Godolkin have is they're going to cull the world of all the weak soups, and only the strongest ones are going to remain. And then he said, I'm going to start with I'm going to start with Godolkin University, and we're going to
25% will make it. The rest are gone.
The ones who survive are the strongest ones, and those are the ones who are going to move forward. Everybody else is going to be killed. So that's his plan. So
interesting.
Look, this show is crazy. Again, it was a little bit satisfactory for me to kind of have figured it out as early as I did, but then I was like, okay, well, this just kind of ruins it a little bit because I kind of know where they're going with it. But at the same time, I like to see how they're going there, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, you want to see how it ends, and you want to see where they're going. Plus, this leads right into the last season of The Boys.
And you can see, and that was the other big thing that came out of New York Comic Con. We got a teaser trailer for The Boys season 5 now, is it? Oh my God, crazy to think about it. We got a little teaser for that. We know that it's coming next year. We know that they're using this show to set that up, and all the events that are happening here will lead into that. I would not be surprised if we've already seen a cameo from Starlight. We've seen cameos from Firecracker, Starlight, Sister Sage, Stan Edgar. I wouldn't be surprised if we see potentially Butcher or somebody, somebody else is going to be on the show.
I think they have to do some big boys cameos at the end of this show for sure. Leading into season,
especially if they're using this as a springboard into the new season. And as we understand, Gen V has been renewed for season 3, so they will be doing another season of Gen V. And we understand they're working on other spin-offs from the Boys universe, even though the Boys season 5 will be the end of the Boys series.
I think they're filming Vault Rises, right?
Vault Rises, which is basically a spin-off. that's going to go back in time. It's going to be back when
Soldier
Boy, and it was, what was her name? Stormfront, but she was originally, when she was a Nazi, she was something else. But anyways, back in that day when Vought was first founded. So yes, we understand they're filming that. So like this universe is going nowhere. But I'm looking now that I think exactly what they're trying to accomplish with Gen V is they wanted to get people that love The Boys excited about the new season of The Boys by giving them a little bit of The Boys universe in advance. And I think they've accomplished that goal.
Wow. It's going to be fascinating because I think season 5 of The Boys will wrap up those characters' story arc. I think it really will. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do with Gen V?
Yeah, we'll see. And again, for the first, I think 3 seasons of The Boys, they very much followed a lot of the plot of the comic books. They took most, not all of, but most of what was happening in the comic books and put them on screen. They have diverted and they have changed a lot of things from the comics since. And there's, again, you and I've talked to you about this before. There's a massive spoiler in the comics in regard to a certain character on the 7 that sounds like they've completely moved away from, which in some ways I'm kind of glad about, but I don't know if they're going to go back there. We'll kind of see at some point in time. So
cool. What a great show. Yeah. I mean, you're liking it, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I always can't wait to watch it every week. Yeah, it's great.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
Did you see Amazon released a trailer for Invincible?
Yeah. When
is that being released?
That's coming out March 2026. So we know it's coming out in March, basically the exact same time it came out this past year.
What'd you think of that trailer? It was a teaser or trailer?
Well, they call it a teaser, right? Yeah. And they've done this 3 times now. I think the first one was with Alan the Alien. The second one was with what's the old guy's name? The old guy in charge of the government. What's his name?
Leslie.
You got it.
Yeah.
It was with him, and now it was with Adam Eve. They're sitting in the diner, and now the diner's completely destroyed. The diner that they used for the first 2 times they did the teaser is now completely destroyed because of the battle with Conquest. They teased a bunch of things in here. They teased the return of Conquest. They tease kind of the Viltrumite War. Yeah. There's a bunch of things that are coming.
Thrawn.
Yeah, they teased Thrawn. They showed drawings of Thrawn, so I believe we're going to get Thrawn in this season.
And didn't they reveal the voice actor for that?
Yeah, it's Lee Pace.
Lee Pace,
who most of us in the Marvel universe remember him as. Welcome back after temporary interruption. We had some technical difficulties here on the set of SuperTalk podcast, and hopefully they're resolved.
We'll see.
Yeah.
The night is young.
I'm sure when Titanium splices the show together, he'll put like that big, black and white symbol, sorry for the interruption. And
then, it's going to be all just like that television, like, noise.
And we're back. Yeah. But we were talking about the teaser for Invincible. Lee Pace has been cast as the voice of Thrawn. Everybody
that's a big character in that show.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
I mean, huge. I mean, so if we thought Conquest was a badass Viltrumite, Thrawn is the badass Viltrumite.
Right.
And what we've learned over the past few seasons of Invincible, the Viltrumites are finite. There's only a certain number of them. There's less than 50 of them alive in the universe. And Omni-Man knows this, and they're going to use that against them. And so we'll see. Thrawn is coming to the show again. Lee Pace playing Thrawn, voicing Thrawn.
Great voice actor.
Yeah, played in
the Marvel.
Yep, has been in many other things before. So it was in the Hobbit movies, a bunch of other things. So yeah, so great voice casting there. But yeah, I love the preview. I mean, I think it's been. And we know it's coming in March, which is even better. And the other good news is they're not splitting the season anymore. We're going to get,
oh, good.
Yeah. We're not going to do
that's good news.
4 episodes, and then they're going to be off for a month, and then another 4 episodes. No, it's going to come all together.
Fantastic.
So you're going to get it all together, which
that's
is great
news.
They realized the mistake behind that was not a good one. So
too much time in between them, you lose a little bit.
Yeah, of course. So Professor Titanium, did you see that at New York Comic Con this weekend they dropped a trailer for Wonder Man? We finally got a full trailer.
I saw that online. I did see that.
Yeah. So series is coming January 27th.
Pushed back
from December to January. But what did you think of the trailer?
Let me tell you something. They're dropping all the episodes all at once. So what does that tell you? Just like I felt about the trailer, underwhelmed. I'm not looking forward to this show. I really am not. A matter of fact, I was a little interested in this show until I saw the trailer. Now I'm completely uninterested. And it's like I said online to a few people, thank God we have Lanterns coming out soon, because that I'm looking forward to. But I'm going to watch it, of course, and maybe it'll surprise me. And I like Ben Kingsley, and I like what the character that he plays, the acting coach.
Trevor Slattery.
Trevor. I love that. Yeah. I love that character. So that might be a highlight for me, but I'm not really that interested in this. It looked kind of mid, lame as shit, and not very good. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. I'm not very good. Great actor, and I think they completely wasted him. Now, my question for you is this still part of the old kind of? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is one of those leftover shows from the old regime. This is the, Chapek edition.
Where they're focused on these side characters, not getting focused back to.
This was Bob Chapek, green lighting anything and everything that they wanted to do in Marvel. This is
Vision Quest the same?
No. The concept of Vision Quest is, but the actual show itself is not, because they didn't start filming Vision Quest until after Bob Chapek was gone.
Okay.
But Wonder Man was completely in the can
before
Bob Iger took back over.
Okay.
So we had all of those leftover shows like Eyes of Wakanda, Marvel Zombies, Ironheart.
Right.
And this and
Echo.
And Wonder Man, Wonder Man.
Yeah.
So this is the last one that was done under the old regime.
Okay.
I
was confused because I know a stuntman lost his life on this show and they pushed everything back and it was on hold for a little bit. So I wasn't sure if that but you confirmed it. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the last bastion of the old Bob Chapek version.
And you're sure Vision Quest isn't
right?
Okay.
So they had greenlit Vision Quest, but they did not start filming until Bob Iger took back over at Disney. So yeah, so they didn't. They basically had greenlit the show, but they didn't start filming and producing the show until after the new regime took over.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, what else came out of New York? I heard Marvel Animation announced some things. What'd they announce?
Well, couple big ones for me. So we got Spider-Man, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man season 2 is coming. And that's coming.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, as we talked about it, I think when that show came out on Disney Plus this past year, it's taking place in kind of like a parallel universe or alternate universe. It's not our universe directly, which I don't mind. They take some freedom in some of the things they're doing, but that's coming in the fall of next year, which is great. And I think that animation allows them to have some freedom in some of the characters they develop and some of the direction they take the show, which, look, we all love Spider-Man. Do as much as you want with it. And we've seen Sony do it for decades now. They can do whatever and somebody will watch it. It's Spider-Man, right?
Right.
And then for me, a couple of big announcements that are close to my heart. X-Men 97 season 2 is coming next summer.
Wow.
So that's going to be released in the summer of 2026.
I actually have a question for you about that show.
And the other big news that came out of New York Comic Con is that it's been greenlit for season 3.
Wow.
So we not only are getting season 2 this next year, but they already are going to be doing season 3 of X-Men 97. And again, just brings me back to the days of, programming my VCR to make sure I recorded the X-Men animated series every Saturday morning, and X-Men 97 last year.
Nostalgia.
Was such a nostalgic, just just hit me right in the heart, and they pull stories directly, and
from the source material. Yeah.
Look, whatever happened to Bo DeMeo, and Bo, if you're out there watching or listening, I know you listen to us every week, so thank you for listening to us. But
funny you bring him up. Let me ask you this. If season 2 is just as good, if not better, and season 3 is really phenomenal, that he has nothing to do with now, we know that, does that say that the lightning in the bottle for season 1 really could have been done by any of these writers?
It all depends on who's doing it and what they're using to do it. I think why Bo DeMeo hit a home run with X-Men 97 season 1, and we talked about this on our show when we reviewed that series, is because they drew stories directly from the comics.
Yeah.
They literally took stories directly out of the pages of the comics and said, let's create some episodes based on those stories. And Bo hit it out of the park, to bring Bastion in and to have this, sentient, kind of being that is kind of overpowerful. And then the X-Men to fight against him and bringing a lot of the voice actors back from the original animated series. I mean, they hit a home run in the first one. If they hit a home run with this one,
then how much did it,
well,
was
here's
it
my
really
question.
just one person? Maybe it wasn't just one person.
We understand, and I think what they showed at New York Comic Con, here's what we understand. Obviously, the way that they ended season 1 of X-Men 97, Apocalypse is coming in, is going to be a big part of the storyline. We understand that Colossus is coming in. We understand that there's other characters coming into the series. Question is, where are they drawing inspiration for the story?
Yeah.
If they're pulling it from the comics like they did in season 1, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Apocalypse, like a storyline.
You've been to my house.
Yeah.
You know how many of these comics, X-Men comics I have? I mean,
ridiculous.
Pull them directly from the comics and you'll hit a home run.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. But if they do hit a home run with this, look, we know how important this series of characters is to Marvel for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And if X-Men 97, the animated series, builds momentum and interest in these characters to come to the big screen, I'm all for it, dude. I mean, they're my favorite characters in the world, right? And so
you're an X guy.
Yeah. Yep. So bring it on. And we know that there's going to be an X-Men movie at some point in time, and
you're Gen X-Man.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I'm all for it, and I hope it is great. But here's the other thing I say: if it's not as good as season 1, that says a lot.
It says a lot about Bo,
right?
And it says a lot about what direction they're going.
Well, here's what we heard when Bo was dismissed. We heard that not only did he do season 1, but he had already written all of the stories for season 2. And from what we understand, when he was dismissed, they completely canned all of that.
Agreed.
And started over.
They did. Yeah.
So
we'll see.
We'll see how it is. Yeah. And I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, me too. Fingers crossed.
Did you see they at Comic-Con they dropped a trailer for Daredevil Born Again season 2?
Oh, yeah, it was leaked online.
Yeah.
Kristen Ritter actually put it on her Instagram page.
Kristen Ritter, and that was a thing. Not only did they release the trailer, but Foggy was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Kristen Ritter's in the trailer.
Could that have been a flashback though? Maybe not.
But we got confirmation. Kristen Ritter's in the show.
Can't wait. What a great
Jessica Jones coming back.
His the double D costume.
The black costume.
Oh, fire. Absolutely fire. I cannot wait to see that costume in action.
So this is coming March of 2026. We get Wonder Man in January, and we get Daredevil Born Again.
Oh, can't wait. March. That's going to be great. Then
the Punisher special presentation coming after that, after Daredevil Born Again. It'll be in like the April-May time frame, feeding directly in to Spider-Man Brand New Day, because we know Punisher's in that movie.
We know he's in that. We know the Hulk is in that.
So, from what we understand, everything that happens in Daredevil Born Again season 2 and the Punisher special presentation is feeding directly into Spider-Man Brand New Day.
2026 is looking pretty hot.
I'm kind of excited now.
We're going to eat pretty good. Yeah. That's awesome.
Did you see we also got some details about Vision Quest? You were mentioning it before.
I did. Yeah, that's great. I mean, if it is,
they brought Paul Bettany up on stage.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which was awesome.
Yeah. And he says this kind of rounds out and finishes the WandaVision trilogy, right? So Agatha, Vision Quest, this kind of rounds it out. I have seen some casting.
Yeah,
that
they
casted
cast Tommy Speed, so they casted somebody to play Tommy and Speed. So I assume they're using the same Billy.
Yeah, they are
person from Agatha all along, but they cast an actor to play Tommy.
James Spader is signed on.
Yeah, here was the interesting thing that they revealed, which I'd love to get your opinion on. It seems like James Spader is in this as James Spader.
Yeah.
He's playing
human form, right?
Yeah, it seems like they're taking.
How are you going to do that?
Well, from what I understand, at least this is what they're alluding to, is that much, if not most, of the series takes place in Vision's mind.
Oh,
and there are physical representations of digital entities in Tony Stark's kind of cadre of entities. So there's going to be a physical entity of Jarvis. There's going to be a physical entity of Friday. There's going to be a physical entity of Ultron, which is James Spader. So they're basically people inside of Vision's mind that are going to be like interacting with each other as these characters. So, and again, we know Billy and Tommy are in it.
That sounds wacky to me.
Yeah, but
it sounds sketchy. I hope they pull it off.
Here's what I'll say. If they pull it off, it could be really good, because I think having Vision in the MCU going forward, even if it's the White Vision, and I'm all for White Vision, kind of dumbed down, like total android, just no emotion. I'm all for that being what we see.
I mean, he gave Vision a run for his money.
Well, yeah,
and he's got the laser and everything. So, and you never know when he kind of mind melded with him with the Mind Stone. You don't know how much of the Mind Stone transferred into that android. So, yes, it just sounds weird. But listen, let's be honest. The real James Spader in anything? Come on. That's going to be fun.
Nailed Ultron.
Yeah, he's nailed so good. His voice is so good. It just sounds wacky to me. I hope they pull that off.
Looking forward to it. And here's what I'll say. When we see the trailer at that point in time, like you and I remember this, when we first saw the trailer of WandaVision, we're like, all right, that seems a little strange. What are they doing here?
Right.
But then when we watched it, we're like, okay, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
And so I think when we see a trailer for this, eventually Vision Quest, we'll be like, okay, I know where they're going with this.
Okay,
now.
I hope so.
And which leads me to believe that there is a future for Vision, at least, especially in Secret Wars. Look, Paul Bettany wasn't on the Chair Watch. He wasn't part of Avengers Doomsday and all this other stuff. So I think Paul Bettany will be in Secret Wars as Vision, some version of that character. So
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, Professor, let's hit the topic of the
week. And so this week we're going to talk about the finale of Peacemaker season 2, and it's brought to us by our friends over at Studio GG Studios, home of the man band Corn on the Cob.
Love those guys.
Yeah, so thanks Studio G, and go check out their page. It's always in our show notes. We'd love you to visit them and give them some love and support. So we got the last 3 episodes of Peacemaker. Per our last show, we called the fact that Chris was heading into this alternate universe where his dad and brother were still alive and they were fighting crime together and everything was hunky-dory, and had this
something seemed
great relationship with Harcourt that he couldn't get in his own world. And he's like, I'm going over there to live. And he brings Eagly over there and finds out, yeah, they're living in a Nazi universe.
Earth X, right?
This is Earth X. This is,
Earth X storyline
version of Earth run by where Hitler wins World War II, and now the Nazis are in charge of the world. But we find out a few things, So the 11th Street crew all jump into the portal to go save Chris from this Earth. They all try to retrieve him. And the funny part of I can't remember which episode it was, but they had Harcourt go off to Argus to try to find Chris, and they left Economist and Adebayo back at the house, at the mansion where the portal was.
Yeah.
And she eventually is like, I'm tired of waiting. I'm just going to go for a walk. And she goes for a walk. She's walking down the street, and all these people are like looking at her like funny, like sideways, like
crazy.
What's happening? What's happening? And then somebody says,
episode 6.
it's a black. It's a black. And I'm like, oh my God. And that's when we learned it was a Nazi universe, right?
And then right after that whole scene kind of unfolds, Peacemaker, Chris, finds the flag with the Nazi symbol on it and realizes, holy shit. And Hardcore turns around and there's this
huge notice the mural with
Hitler on it.
Oh, he's like, God. How did I miss that?
Yeah.
So
unreal.
funny. So funny. But I think what we ended up learning about that, two things happened in that particular series of events. His father in that universe was not a hardcore Nazi white supremacist like he is in our universe.
Right.
He was actually a pretty good dude who was just trying to do right by his family. And even though he found out that Chris had killed his version of Peacemaker, who he thought personally was a bit of a douchebag,
right?
He's like, oh, he didn't know. He didn't do it on purpose. I'll forgive him. But Chris's brother in that universe was not about to forgive him.
Right.
And Augie, his father, was like, no, dude, you need to stand down. And then, of course, who screws everything up? Vigilante comes bursting in through a window and stabs his dad in the neck like 9 times and kills him. I'm like, oh my God.
It's just crazy.
Vigilante. And so the two Vigilantes, so Vigilante found his other version of himself in the other universe. And they were like best friends, like long lost friends. It was so funny.
It was probably one of the best shows in
so
any
good.
series, in any superhero series I've seen in a very long time. And my overall, and we'll get into the last episode, because for me it was a little underwhelming. I think my expectations were way too high on the finale, but still the season as a whole, season 2 of Peacemaker, was great. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good series, even though the finale kind of didn't stick the landing.
Well, let's talk about the last episode, because I think it's important to get into what they were trying to do with this. And it sounds like James Gunn
achieved it, no question.
He was using this series and the final episode specifically to set things up for the future of the DCU. He said as much. He said it exactly in the post show, which I watched because you had to understand what the hell was going on. But Chris comes back from the alternate universe, hands over the device that gives him access to the portal.
Yeah.
Right. And then Argus,
the pocket dimension device, right? Yeah.
So that Argus had possession of this device, and they were using the scientists on Luthor's team. And it seems like Lex Luthor is very involved with the direction that
Argus is going
and that General Flag was taking of like what they were trying to do. So we see the entire Argus team in the beginning of the episode going into the pocket dimension and trying to open these individual doors. And each door goes to a different universe. And, they had one universe, it was like Candyland universe. And there's these, deadly, like little miniature mites that kill people in it. And then there was one that had the black hole from the Superman movie.
Right.
And there was another universe that had like these skulls, like on spiders. They were like, no, we're not going in there. But they did end up finding a universe that looked very much like, or at least it was inhabitable by humans.
Air. Yeah,
right. And they called it the
Salvation
universe. Mm-hmm. And
ripped straight from the comics.
Right. Mm-hmm. There was an entire run in the comics called Salvation. Mm-hmm. And General Flag mentioned, we found it. We found Salvation. And this is probably what you're talking about. The second half of the episode kind of was like weird in that we saw Adebayo and Peacemaker is in prison, but then they use all of the money that Vigilante had taken from the drug lords to buy him a good lawyer and get him out of jail.
Right.
So that Vigilante, Adebayo, and Economist and Harcourt all put together this new agency called Checkmate.
Yep.
That they're now going to be, kind of their own private like security firm or whatever, right?
Which a little different from the comics, but still one from the comics. So I like it.
So they put this thing together and it seems like everything's hunky-dory and everything's happy. And then we see Chris, Peacemaker, go home and he gets, bagged and tagged and taken into a van and dragged to Argus by General Flag, gets thrown into
Salvation
portal, and General Flag says, we need to test this universe because we plan on sending all the metas here. This is where we're basically going to take
it's a prison.
It's a metahuman prison. We're We're going to basically exile every metahuman. So we needed a test case, and you're it. And he basically said, this is for Rick Jr. And he shuts the door and leaves Peacemaker there by himself with nothing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
My fear is this. First of all, again, I can't reiterate this enough. I love this series. I love Peacemaker. I think season 2 was phenomenal. Episode 6, one of my favorite, just crazy twists and turns. Little lackluster because James Gunn, maybe he overstated it and said that episode 6, which was true, and episode 8 will be shocking. It will reveal so much, and there's going to be some
about the future of the DCU, have major implications of the future
of the future of DCU. And he said there's going to be some tremendous cameos in that you're going to see. First of all, there weren't any big shocking cameos that we all thought that were going to be.
Lex Luthor was the biggest cameo.
Lex Luthor absolutely was the biggest. So that was kind of a little disappointing because you were waiting for this. It never came to fruition. Now, for people that are watching live on TikTok, and for people like you and me, huge nerds, huge comic book lovers, I mean, we're just nerding out over Salvation, the Checkmate organization, all that, even though it's a little bit different. Is it too obscure for regular audiences? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows who Superman is, Green Lantern, Lex Luthor in the Superman movie. And he did a great job of building this kind of a rip and portal through another dimension. I thought that was fine. But I just have a feeling that it's touching on the multiverse a little bit too much. It's going too nerdy. It's going too deep into the lore, and it's going to lose some of that common audience that you need, that fringe fan that puts asses in seats and dollars into the box office. I'm just afraid that it's a little too much in our wheelhouse and our love of comic books.
But we watch it all.
But it might alienate novice fans.
So here's my fear. I think they're venturing down the road that Marvel ventured down, where they kind of got bit a little bit. And that the whole vision when in 2019, Kevin Feige set up this vision of, the future of the MCU, and we're going to have all these movies, and we're going to have all these TV shows that tie directly into the movies. What ended up, they thought that this was going to be a great thing because they were like, well, if you love the movies, you're going to love the TV shows. And if you watch the TV shows, they're going to feed directly into the movies. What ended up happening, though, was the audience for the movies was not the same audience for the TV shows.
Right.
Not everybody watched the TV shows. And then you would show things in movies that were in the TV shows that nobody saw.
Right.
Because people were watching the TV shows.
They didn't do their homework.
And it was a problem where they were like, well, if you are a diehard Marvel fan and you watch every movie and every TV show, you'll be completely up to speed when you see a character in the movies that was on a TV show.
Right.
My fear here with James Gunn now is that he's using Peacemaker season 2 as a vehicle to establish plot points and plot narratives for future movies that he's doing, whether it's Supergirl, Women of Tomorrow, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, whatever it is, that when that movie starts, we're going to see Peacemaker or we're going to see Salvation. And people are like, what is this?
Right.
Well, if you had watched Peacemaker season 2, you'd know exactly what it is.
Correct.
But you didn't.
Well, that's my fear.
My fear is
I love that. I love it. But
from a nerd perspective, we love it. We're in.
We have that weighted nerd blanket wrapped around us and we're all in. But for the novice fan that you need those fringe fans to attach themselves.
And I think James Gunn's a little smarter.
Okay.
And here's what I mean by that is if what just happened at the end of this season is so important for everybody to know and why it's relevant for what he's doing going forward, when we get to the next Superman movie,
Man of Tomorrow,
they will do a recap, 5 minutes of what happened at the end of the season, show it.
Okay.
And say, they'll show General Flag, throwing Peacemaker in there, say, this is the prison for the super metahumans, Salvation, you're in there, boom. They'll show it in the movie.
Okay.
So they won't force you to watch the series. They'll be like, oh, in case you didn't watch, here's what happened.
Right.
And they'll recap it.
Okay.
So it'll be like a very brief recap of what happened. And then when they, Brainiac shows up and says, I found all these people on this planet, and I'm going to use them to my advantage, and all this other stuff. So,
or even Darkseid.
Well, who knows?
Right.
But I think James Gunn will not assume everybody's watched Peacemaker season 2. I think he'll use what's happened in Peacemaker season 2. Like, I love the cameo that Peacemaker had in the Superman movie.
Yes.
Because whether you watch Peacemaker or you didn't, you then became interested in, like, why is John Cena in some crazy costume? Oh, you should go back and watch Peacemaker because that's why he's there. Right?
It was a good cameo, and you didn't have to do a lot of homework to understand that it was a cameo of this.
But if you became, who's that guy?
Right,
that's Peacemaker. You got to watch that on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So I think that if what happened in the end of the episode is so important, he'll recap it or at least summarize it in a way in the beginning of the movie that we need to understand.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Professor, let's ring the bell. The school bell has rung, and we'll move on. But thank you for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week for more Super Talk. To get in touch with us on social media, hit us up via email, supertalkpodcast@outlook.com, or @SuperTalkPod on Twitter. And don't forget to like and subscribe, people. That's it for us. Until then, we'll see you. Stay super, everyone.
Everyone likes this game. Haters gonna hate, and I know you can't wait to see